Welcome back to another episode of How Did They Grow? I created this podcast because I wanted you to learn how other coaches, freelancers, service providers, and course sellers are growing their business, landing 10 to 20 new clients every single month, paying them 50, 100, 200K months. See, if they've done it, you can too. And that's just the reality. And I want you to listen to these podcasts to understand what strategies are they using, what techniques are they exploring, because it's in these gems that you can apply it to your business and actually scale things up. When you're ready and you feel like you actually want to learn practical, proven methodologies, or even you want to hire a team that can build you a profitable personal brand, book in a chat with our team because we can guarantee you go viral and guarantee you get clients for your business.
And welcome to the show, guys. This is the How Did They Grow podcast, and today we got on Brandon B. Forbes. How you doing, Brandon?
What's going on, man? I'm good. I'm fantastic. How you doing? Pleasure.
I'm doing great, brother. I'm doing great. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Brandon.
I am a little bit about myself. I'm a coach, business coach. Right now, I currently coach my students how to leverage OPM, how to build business credit, and how to get their personal credit on steroids. I got over around 300, students right now. I got a private community, and I'm just trying to help people leverage OPM. That's pretty much it.
How about you break down a little bit about OPM and what that's about?
That's OPM is simple, is using other people's money, leveraging other people's money. It's a misconception that you need to have a lot of capital to invest in your business or scale your business or start a business. That's just misinformation. Some of the most wealthiest people in the planet never use their money. So, I kind of that's something that I've always been intrigued by, and it's something that I'm teaching my students how to tap into and get into the habit of doing.
Makes a lot of sense. I really get that. How about you tell us how you were able to scale that social media? You say you had a history in digital marketing. Tell us a little about
Um,
that.
okay. Yeah. As far as scaling, as far as the digital marketing side of things, I mean, digital marketing is kind of simple. You really need to have a course. First and foremost, you need to be genuine. That's kind of one of the things that is like kind of untold or unsaid. It needs to be genuine. And I just feel being genuine, just being genuinely who you are, across your platforms, across your social media, is one of the key components that's going to catapult you into building a following. And once you
Mm,
build a following, all you do from there is you monetize your following. And you offer, some type of service or product that actually gives people the opportunity to see some real results. And once you got all that kind of packaged together, I mean, it kind of domino effect. It's real simple.
yeah, it kind of just works its way around. So that's like the way I'm hearing it. That's like reverse engineering the process in terms of making sure your delivery is good and you're giving your clients everything, and then it just
Exactly.
works in reverse. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you're a genuine person, putting out genuine information, genuine content, and the service that you provide or the product that you sell, if it's actually delivering people real results, the scoreboard gonna take care of itself.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, man. So, for the
mhm.
people listening, we got an audience of people aspiring to be on social media and grow their pages with digital marketing as well. What would you say, when you're in that bottom, when you're in the trenches in terms of starting out? What advice would you give to someone in that position?
My advice would be to just get started, man. Just get started. So many people have that analysis paralysis type of concept about them or energy about them, and you can't be afraid. You just gotta just get started. Wherever you at, you just get started. It'll never be the perfect time. You'll never have a perfect situation or perfect resources. It'll never be perfect. So just get started with what you have and where you at, and just be consistent. And I guarantee you, it's going look shit gonna look up for you. I can pretty much promise that.
But like, I assume like you when you started out, you had like a strategy. You had no strategy. What was the
Yeah,
strategy like? You
my strategy is to put out, I kind of my strategy and I it's kind of funny because I kind of took the strategy from, I kind of took it from athletes or musicians, like Kobe Bryant, one of my favorite basketball players. One of my favorite musicians was Gucci. You know what I'm saying? He's one of my favorite positions. I'm
right?
gonna use kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna kind of use a quote from him. I mean, his main thing is just putting out a lot of content. I mean, just putting out a lot of content. If you record content and put it out every single day, consistently, 3 months, 6 months consistently, um, regardless, of the quality, regardless of everything else, is it's just about being consistent. And that was kind of my strategy, just try to put out as much content consistently as possible. And I kind of, allowed myself to figure everything else out, as I went along. So
Yeah,
that was
man,
pretty
that's
much the
amazing,
strategy.
man. That's amazing. That's amazing. How would you say, like, in terms of like, obviously, like, there's people like it's different when you're a content creator, and it's different when you're like a coach. If you know what I mean, like, how would you say like people need to balance it? Because as a coach, man, it's like you got to focus on delivering to your clients and getting people in check. You're not your main focus. In contrast to if you're a content creator, your number one priority is creating content. How are you able to balance? Yeah,
Yeah,
still
I
had the
was
time to
able to
create content.
balance it. At first, I mean, it was a little difficult. But that come into being disciplined. I think you need to
Mm,
really, that's a part of just leveling up in general is starting to put your priorities first, writing down your schedule and being disciplined on, the amount of time that you putting towards every component in your business. So thing that worked for me when it came to just being able to actually balance is I always looked at who, not how. And
mm,
if I can elaborate that a little more, is I always look at who is able to help me accomplish this instead of how am I able to get this accomplished. And once
mm.
I kind of took that concept and I understood that, I got real good at hiring, staffing, and partnering, so that it aligns with my vision and you know my brand and my company.
I hope you're enjoying this podcast. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're learning so much practical wisdom because that's what I really wanted from this podcast. Now, I just want to quickly say, if you're looking for a team that can actually help you explode and go viral with your personal brand with proven methodologies, I say this because I've been doing this for the past 5 years. We've got a team of 30 people who are ready to go ahead and explode your brand so you can get clients begging to work with you. Have a chat with one of our advisors. You can book in a chat using one of the links around this video because that chat might just change your life.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. You want to break that down in terms of like, so that means like you right now have a big team in terms of people doing all this stuff for you, just not focus on your business.
Yeah, I try to make sure that the team ain't too big. We don't want to. I always wanted to stay away from having like 20, to 50 people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I try to keep it lean. But like I said, you just really get good at, get good at hiring, like figuring out, taking a step back, figuring out who is a perfect piece to your team. You look at it like a basketball team, it's 5 players on the team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I might not be a perfect rebounder. I might not be a perfect 3-point shooter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna surround those components around me, so that we can get to the ship, so I can get that
Mhm.
ring. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I
You
just
get your
got
role
good
players.
at exactly your role players. I just got good at evaluating what do I need. I need a wing player. I need somebody that's good from mid range. I need somebody that can pass. I need, once I got good at, evaluating that and knowing how to identify that, you keep it real simple like that.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense, man. So what would you say to like, would you say to young entrepreneurs trying to get into the space, like, would you say grind it out until you can, or would you say try to build a team as early as possible?
Um, I would say, I would say, both. You're gonna have to simultaneously do it. Like I said, you ain't gonna be able to wait. Just like I said before, you ain't gonna be able to, it's not gonna be a perfect situation or a perfect time or perfect opportunity. You're gonna need to put in the work initially. It's gonna be, especially starting out, sometimes it might require you to kind of play all positions initially. But as long as you have a goal and you have a vision, you know that what you're doing is for. You know the method behind the madness. You're doing this, and this goes
Yeah,
for any business. You do the business so that you can replace yourself. You work inside your business to where you can get to the point where you can start working on your business. You get what I'm saying? You remove yourself. I was always told if you got to
you
do
ain't got a
everything in your
business.
business, you
It's
ain't got a
true.
business. You ain't a business owner. You know what I'm saying? You self-employed. You ain't a
Yeah,
business owner, you
that's good.
self-employed.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So, you gotta always have that in the back of your mind when
yeah,
when you're working. The whole goal of why you working hard initially is so that you can replace
yeah.
yourself and work less, you
That
know.
makes a lot of sense, man. I can really see that. Let's get into
Mhm.
you, man. Let's get into you. What are some of your goals for 2025 in terms of your business, in terms of social media, in terms of growth?
Okay. 2025, man. It's like, man, I'm loving how 2025 looking.
Mm,
Like I said, some of my goals, I'm just trying to help as many people as possible. Right now, I'm really in kind of the mindset of really creating a lot of successful entrepreneurs. 'Cause at the stage that my business in right now, one of the biggest things is just, really, really having receipts. And
mm,
so far I've helped hundreds of individuals start businesses, get funded, get their credit clean, change their mindset. And I'm just trying to double that going into the second, third quarter of 25. I'm trying to
mm.
double my receipts. And by putting that in the forefront, the rest of my business, the rest of the components of my business, as far
Yeah,
as the revenue it brings and all that, that's gonna take care of itself.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
gonna take care of itself as I'm providing more, results to my students and to my members.
yeah, yeah. As you said, bro, the stat sheet gonna fill itself up.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what's the plan? What's the plan to kind of do that? Reach more people, kind of help more people and grow your business. What's the plan? Strategy.
Strategy is, like I said, right now my team is doing fantastic with everything, and I got a nice team built currently, where it's kind of making it a real simple process when someone taps in and works with me. So
Mm,
me being able to take somebody from here to there is starting to become uh, you know simpler. I put it like that, and right now I'm just trying to double down on what's already working for me and what works. And of course, you got to stay in front of people. That's the first thing. I mean, you can't provide your services or change nobody's life if they don't know who you are. So
mm.
continue to stay in front of people, man. Continue to put out your content. Continue to whatever it is whatever it is you got going. Just try to continue to stay in front of people, and that's kind of my strategy. I'm just gonna continue. Y'all ain't gonna stop seeing me.
Yeah,
You ain't
I
gonna
like
stop
the fact that you
seeing
said
me.
that, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said like that team, bro. That team is important, man. You say like you got teams in every aspect of your business, like in terms of delivery, maybe you got a team. In terms of the content, you got a team. How does that work?
Yeah, I got a team that's, pretty much specific towards every component of the business. And like I said, I just play towards other people's strength. So
Mm,
that's the thing about having a team. You want to play towards other individual strengths. Know what you're good at, what you may not be the best at, and
mm,
you want to work and appoint people and work with people to kind of pick up the slack for you. We help each
mm.
other. So
Yeah, that makes sense, man. So the goal for 2025 is kind of to get more eyeballs, and the way you're trying to do that is obviously post more. You're trying to like, what you trying to do? Like double your posting? Is that something that
I'm
that's
doubling
true?
I'm doubling my marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doubling my marketing, and everything is marketing. So I'm doubling my marketing. I'm doing, I'm getting out to more events. I'm doing more interview. I'm doing more interviews. I'm talking to more people. I'm partnering with more people. I'm just, like I said, I'm just marketing. I want to stay in front of you. And one thing about marketing, it comes, it comes funding comes into play. So a lot of businesses don't do the marketing correctly because they might not have the budget or they don't have the capital. But when you are, when you're able to leverage OPM, like what I
Mm,
teach, we able to get this to a point where you can kind of, start having that omnipresence and be able to, leverage your advertising budget, you get what I'm saying,
mm.
to accomplish that and make that a reality by not coming out of your pocket, you know what I'm saying, to do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's just marketing, man, doubling down on being seen, man. That's it. It ain't even no rocket science to it.
Man, that's amazing, man. It sounds like you like kind of broke the system, bro. You read the whole playbook. You know how it works inside out.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
let me ask you for some insight, bro, in terms of like the listeners and how you can benefit them. In terms of social media right now, what kind of content do you think is working right now? You think it's like sitting down talking? What kind of videos is like being pushed by the algorithm?
Right now, from what I'm seeing is of course a lot of short form content. Um 30 seconds to a minute and 50 seconds, somewhere around that. That's what kind of
Mm,
works. What I'm seeing. I'm also seeing it's kind of a shift that they want to see you talk more. They want to get to know you as a person more. So
yeah,
it's always best to kind of start talking to the camera,
mm,
start showing personality,
yeah,
start being as transparent as possible. That's
yeah,
kind of the
authenticity.
secret. Yeah, like I was saying before, just being genuine, being
Mm,
transparent. There's so much cap on the internet that,
yeah,
people don't know who to believe, they don't know who you are. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
you
for
want to
real.
kind of at least take that constraint,
Away.
away, you know what I'm saying,
Mm,
as
mm,
soon as
mm, mm, mm,
possible by just being transparent, being you, whoever you may be, just be you. You know what I'm saying?
mm, mm, mm.
And I feel like, it'll start coming, your traction will start coming, your audience will start coming, people will start attracting because they genuinely are interested in you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Not the
yeah, message.
facade that you put up or you know what I'm saying, this image you didn't put up. They attracted to you.
That makes a lot of sense, man. The reason I asked that because I
Mhm.
was looking at your Instagram. I see you do a lot of like, 7, 10 second videos where it's like read the caption type of stuff. You know what I mean? So from
Absolutely,
what I'm
absolutely.
hearing, yeah. So from what I'm hearing, that stuff works. But you also say like talking head videos and sitting down in front of a camera. Which one you say is better?
Yeah, do both. You want to kind of I give them, and this is what I can say, you got different platforms that kind of play the different algorithms.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right now, IG is kind of real good on short form content. So, like I said, anywhere between 4 to 8 second reels, just to kind of give
Yeah.
them a quick glance of what's going on. And then you got that, 40 second, 40 to 60 second kind of short form where you actually talking, maybe explaining something, giving them a little more of your personality. So you kind of got two different forms, short
Mm,
form, long form, and that's kind of playing towards Instagram algorithm. With YouTube, you kind of able to get a little deeper into that when you're doing
yeah,
two,
yeah,
three,
yeah.
4 minute videos. But at the end of the day, I mean, talking to the camera and doing showing your personality as much as you can. That's kind of the best way to really grow that following, to have like people that genuinely just gonna stick around. You know what I'm saying? Once they, cause the rule of thumb is once they pretty much digest 7 hours of your content, they feel
Mm,
like they know you. They feel like they know you now. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
So that's just kind of the rule of thumb. So taking that into consideration, you pretty much know, like I said, mix up both. I'm mixing up both. But I'm definitely going to be kind of diving a little deeper into, really
Talking.
sitting there talking,
Yeah.
doing them type of different, presentations, shit like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. And in terms of like Instagram, you got to do a lot of research in terms of like, the hooks and all that. You got that sorted out, right? Like how you doing that? You do a lot of research before you
Um,
post, or what?
I just do, information that, people they want to hear about. You know, I look at my DMs, I look at the questions people ask me. I kind of go, with topics that people, ask me. I go from what the market is asking. What do y'all want to hear about? What do y'all want me to talk about? And
Yeah,
I kind of base my content on what my audience is asking for. I don't, again, I try to keep it as simple as possible. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. So if people keep asking for this, this is a topic that people are interested in. I'm gonna kind of, gauge my content, my hooks, off of that and run with it.
yeah, man, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Let's kind of like transition into business wise. How would you say you get most of your leads? Is it like a lot of marketing, a lot of organic stuff? You get a lot of referrals. How does that work?
Right now is all organic and referrals. I'm doing all organic. My main thing is just, like I said, putting out the content, building some type of, building a trust factor with my audience and letting them organically just come and, tap in with me. I don't come off as pushy, salesy or none of that. Just I want you when you're ready and you ready to go to the next level or go from here to there, tap in with me. So, and then
Mhm.
as you do that and you provide the results, the referrals gonna come. So, referrals and organic is kind of my main two avenues right now. So,
It makes sense, Brian. As what you said is true as well. Like you don't got to come off as like you're trying to push it, sales. You just want to, when you're ready, when you on your own time, you find me, you see me, you mess with me, hop on,
mm,
follow me. Let's
hmm
do something together. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How's that working for you in terms of like results? Is that
It's
something you?
working. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying like, is that something like you see is doing good, or is this something you want to change? Is this something you want to switch up?
It's working fantastic. Like it's working good. It's working really well. The main thing is you double down on what's working. So if it wasn't working, I'd be probably thinking about what I need to change. But I mean it's
Mhm.
working. It's working. So I'm looking I do more research into how can I double what's working, do it faster, um, do it easier, do it more effectively. So I don't think I'm really changing anything. I'm just trying to double down on what's working.
That makes sense. That makes sense, and that's a smart thing to do. Uh,
Hmm.
let me bring it back to social media a bit for the sake of the audience, so they can benefit. Because you seem like you're doing a lot on there, and it's like we gotta get as much as we can out of you. All right.
Hmm.
So, in terms of like creating content, as you said, like sitting in front of that camera and establishing that connection with your fan base and people who following you, people who gonna come across you as well. Like obviously, that's a little bit harder to create than the 7 to 10 second videos where it's like you just put a video of you in the background and you write some stuff on that. How would you say
Hmm.
for like coaches, especially, when I made that distinction between coaches and creators, it's not the same thing. Content creators can do that all day, but coaches have to focus on their clients and all that. How would you say, like, because that's going to take you like 10 hours if you editing and doing all that? How would you say, what would you say to somebody in that position where like they got this dilemma in front of them where like, I want to create more content, I want to put myself out there, I want more eyeballs, but I got to handle my business. You know what I mean?
I would say to answer that, I would say get in the habit of learning how to use AI. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? AI is one of the most. I mean, we in that period in time right now where it's revolutionary. I mean,
yeah,
AI is doing a lot of the thinking for you.
yeah,
It's taking your idea and it's kind of thinking for you. So get real good at AI. You got a
mm,
topic, that you want to talk about it, you got the information, plug it into AI, let them help you with your content, let them help you with, your presentations, everything. You kind of let AI be part of your team. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And once that's part of your team, you can kind of, that's a good team member. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Pretty
never
much
gonna
go
let you
from
down.
there. Exactly. Don't overthink it. Like don't overthink it. It's 2025. You know what I'm saying? Don't overthink it.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So you, in terms of 2025, we spoke about your goals. We spoke about how you're using social media to leverage those goals, how you got your team running around. Is there anything you would like to say, like in terms of like, is there anything you missing? Like, what's missing? It's just to grow. Is that it? Or is there anything you're trying to like fix in 2025?
Um, man, like I said, I wouldn't even
Doubling
say
down.
anything. Hey, I'm just trying to double down, man. That's it. I'm just trying to double down on what's working,
Mm,
continue to grow, continue to provide results. And, I'm just gonna let the scoreboard take care of itself. And that's pretty much it, man. I don't really, like I said, I try to keep it simple, man. I don't try to be, overthink. Sometimes you could think yourself out of success. You know what I'm saying? Just
yeah, yeah,
keep
yeah,
it,
yeah.
yeah, keep it simple. Keep it simple, keep it goal driven, and as you hit your accolades and hit your goals, you'll start, you'll start getting in a more creative space. You get what I'm saying? So you know how that go. Once you make your first million, now you think different. You get what I'm saying? Like
Mm,
you feel me? Once you make your first 10 million, you think different. You get what I'm saying? So
mm.
it's like, I just allow the creativity to come as I'm just knocking out these accolades, checking off that bucket list.
Cool, cool, cool. That makes a lot of sense. I think this is like we done come full circle here. Let me just ask you this: like, what is one thing you wish I asked you on this podcast, Brandon?
Um, I think you pretty much asked me everything. I mean, that would help, definitely help a aspiring digital marketer, course creator, a coach. I think you pretty much covered all bases. I don't think you really missed anything, to be honest with you.
Mm,
I think you kind of touched on everything.
mm, mm, mm. Right. So nothing. Maybe I'll ask you this one, just a little bit casual. What basketball team you a fan of?
What basketball team I'm a fan of? Okay, Chicago, the Bulls.
Bulls. Man,
Right.
man, I just lost Levine, bro. How's that
I
feeling?
know. I mean, they probably setting up for a bigger play. That's the only, I
Mm,
try to
mm,
rationalize for people. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
It gotta be a different, they setting up for a different play. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
So it is what it is. They rebuilding.
is what it is.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm from Chicago, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm from Chicago. So the Bulls, always, I'm always seeing red.
Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. I think it's been an amazing one, man. Where can the people like go to learn and find out a little bit more about your work?
Oh, absolutely. You can tap into my Instagram, b.forbes underscore. That's my Facebook. That's my Instagram. I also have a school community, private group called the Fortune Club. So you can find me on the school platform and tap into the group and get active. And that's pretty much it, man. Just shit. Any one of those platforms, you're gonna tap straight into everything I got going on.
Amazing, man. Amazing. I think it's been good. Hopefully we can get you on some other time, man. You can break down some other stories for us, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been a
All
pleasure,
right, man.
man. It's definitely been a pleasure.
I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. I want you to go away and execute everything there is that you've learned. Now, one thing I will say is if you're in a position where you're ready to actually take things to another level, you want structured, clear guidance, you want a team that can actually help accelerate you, book in a chat with our advisors. Why? We can blow up your personal brand to attract clients begging to work with you. All you got to do is book in a chat with our advisors and we can help make it happen. Sound fair enough?